So the time has come. This is the last of my Big Brother reunions. Well, the original series. So it's been amazing. I never anticipated I'd get the reaction that you guys have shown. The nice comments, the messages. It's taken a lot of work, like a lot of work. And in this episode, you'll see some of the final housemates from the final show on Big Brother Channel 5. But don't forget, I do have some celebrity Big Brother reunions to follow this, and they are amazing. So, welcome to the final of our Big Brother reunions. Now, you can see we've only got three on here today, but we are going to do a second part of this reunion because we just couldn't get the days to match everyone. But we've got a really good three, and Kian said it's the best looking three of the house. So, let's say hello to Kian. How are you?
Hi, how are you?
Really good. How are you?
Good, thank you.
And we've got Zoe. How are you?
Hey.
And we've got Isaac, or Isaac, as Kian calls you.
Just Isaac.
Do your impression. Do your Kian impression.
Isaac.
Before we come on.
Isaac, you're so good looking.
So you know when you all went into the house, did you know at the time it was going to be the final series? Did they tell you that prior to going in?
No.
So did you only literally find out when you came out of the house?
Yeah.
Wow. So starting off with Kian, what made you actually want to go into Big Brother? What was it about the show? Were you a fan?
Me, is it?
Yeah.
Me, I was bored, I suppose. I've always watched the show. I was just bored. We had a big snowfall in Ireland and I was snowed inside my house. I was after a few drinks. I was like, fuck it, I'm just going to apply. Genuinely, I just thought not was going to come of it. I just applied for the crack. I liked the show. Let's do it. I didn't expect to get on and I did. So happy days, Patsy Hayes.
And what was the audition process like? Because, I mean, from talking to the people on the Channel 4 series, the process seemed longer, but a lot of people from Channel 5 seem to have actually been asked to go on the show. Was that the same case for you? Or did you apply like everyone else?
Oh, I applied like everyone else. Oh my God, no one asked me. If I need someone would have asked me not to go on it. I thought it was long enough. I think my audition was May. And I found out I was going on the show like mid-August. And
Right.
there was just a lot of stuff, as Zoe and Isaac know, just kind of in between, just kind of happening.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was long enough. Like, I think I kind of knew I was going in from like July onwards, but I still didn't have the confirmation. So that kind of way.
Yeah.
Like they sent out like nothing to go and like 15. And I was like, okay, this is funny. And she was like, you're amazing, Keen. You're so good. I was like, she's very intense, lads. I think I'm getting on the show. So yeah, I had an idea, but I didn't have the confirmation until like mid-August.
And what about you, Zoe? What was it about the show that made you want to go in there originally?
Well, I was watching Big Brother at the time and I was pissed and I thought, do you know what? I'm going to apply for it. And it was mainly for the money because I was skint. And I had a business plan set up and like what if, and then they kept calling me back for these auditions and I'm like, oh God. So yeah, it was just like but then when you get in there, it's more like you get really close with people really quick, so you make a lot of friends as well. So for me, it was still about the money. Like I wasn't bothered about, oh, she's the winner of Big Brother. Like I think Cameron really wanted to win because they were like a super Big Brother fan. And I remember him saying he would rather come first and not get any money than in the second place got the money. And I was like, yeah, well, if I come second, that'd be great. If that's the case, but obviously came third. But yeah, we're more about the money right at the beginning, and then when you get in there and you make really good friends like these two, it just becomes about like living with them and having fun with them, and you know, like doing the tasks and stuff. So you kind of forget about it.
And you know, you said about the money. Are you referring to the prize money, or as housemates, did you get paid for going in? Did you get like a daily allowance? Because that's not what a lot of us don't know.
Yeah, no, I were on about winning it. But then when you get in there and you see all these other people, you think, yeah, you probably won't. But yeah, you get like a daily allowance for, like, obviously I've got a house and bills and things like that. So you do get a daily allowance for that. But it just goes straight in your bank account, and like you can. So I didn't think I was going to be in there that long, so I didn't take as much tobacco as what I needed. So you can actually buy them, go to the diary room and actually ask for some more tobacco from your daily allowance.
And what about you, Isaac? What was it about the show that made you want to go on? Because you literally were loved by all, well, I was going to say girls and guys. People just loved you in there.
I don't know about that, mate. What? I don't know about
We
that.
loved you.
But do you know what? I applied for it when I was like 18. My mum wanted me to go on there when I was like 18. And I was thinking, yeah. So I thought I applied for it, didn't hear nothing back. And then I got a message on Facebook. It was like a broadcast message. It was probably about 3 paragraphs long. But long story short, it basically said, we think you look cool. We want you to apply. And then I just saw the paragraph. They said, we want you and your sister to apply at the end of it. And I said, I've got a sister. There's no way anyone on social media could know I've got a sister. So I put my sister ? And they was like, oh, sorry, guilty of sending the broadcast. But we want you to apply. So I did. Sent a little video. I got a message or a call the next day. I can't remember, saying like it really stood out. Want to invite you for an audition. Boom. Audition in Manchester, then one in London, and then next thing someone's coming to stay with me for a week, and then boom. I was confident though. I was kind of confident, like from when they come and stayed with me, I've kind of thought, yeah, wait, this is gonna happen, you know, this is gonna happen for me. And yeah, it did.
And for you, I mean, watching it as a fan of the show, you came across as the most chilled out person ever. You know, you didn't like to really argue. You just like people to get on. But you were in there with some really big characters. So when you first went in and you looked at some of the people you were in the house with, what were your initial thoughts?
Ooh.
I just thought, you know what? I've just thought there's just people from all like different walks of life. People I'd never catch myself really maybe having a conversation with in everyday life. People like Thomas and Lewis G was proper out there. You know what I mean? Proper like, I don't like to use the word out there, just different to me. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Different to what I'd maybe come across in what I was doing at that time. So it was nice, I suppose, to build relationship with people like Thomas and obviously these two as well. Yeah, man.
I remember him cuddling you on the bed. He was just like lying on you and you had your arm around him. You had like a nice little romance with Thomas.
I remember it'd be the evening time and he'd be like, oh, can I get my 10 minutes? Like talking about 10 minutes like a little spoon in bed. Like, Isaac, can I get my 10 minutes? We're like, oh, come on, Andy.
And Kian, I mean, you and Zoe just hit it off from day one, and you were very loyal to each other. So what was it about Zoe that you just connected with? Because it was a real genuine friendship in there.
She was just on my wave. She was just on my wave, like, especially when it comes to like what was funny, what wasn't. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. I think we just had a laugh. Like any laugh you had in there that was like organic and off the cuff, you had to enjoy.
It
that.
is true, yeah.
Because there was a lot of premeditated, like boring, like little games and stuff like that. So it's hard to find a laugh when you're doing the same thing, which is. It's hard. That's like the whole world when you're in there. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like, I remember one day, Zoe, you said to me, it was you as well. You go to me, Isaac, are you all right? And I was like, we were sitting outside the smoking area. I was like, yeah. He was like, well, you just seem a bit quiet today. And I thought, fuck, I'm being quiet. I started to like overcompensate, going around, oh, you all right?
Oh, sorry.
I want people to think I was being quiet and that.
Aww.
No. I mean, Kian, throwing that back to you with your friendship with Zoe, I wanted to know, what was it kind of that made you click with her? Because instantly you two just connected, didn't you?
No, we did. It was literally, we locked eyes on launch night, and it was like a love story. I don't know. Do you know what? And I use this term, and I don't mean it in like a derogatory way. I think we're both just losers. We genuinely are. We're losers. We're weird. So like we just got on. Like for our first week getting to know each other, we couldn't understand each other properly. So we just used to laugh at nothing. We just used to look at each other and go, ah! Like, I don't know. It was just good. It was like Zoe was like a home away from home for me in the house. Just reminded me of my friends outside. It was grand. We got to we just got on literally from the first eye contact. Like even the first night, or the big fur jacket I had, going in, robbing all the drink, putting it inside. We smoked. We got on great. You missed your son. I didn't miss your son because I didn't know him, but I grew to miss him through spending time with you. So I kind of felt like I kind of wanted to like mind her. You know, she missed her son. I'm quite hyperactive. I kind of like to be mammied a little bit, but it's grown to a really strong friendship. But that is still very strong to this day.
And with
Yeah,
you
we're
in
just
particular,
waiting for it to. Oh, sorry, go on.
I was going to say, with Kian in particular, you very much like Isaac were a peacemaker. So there's any time there are arguments in the house, you very much like to diffuse it quickly. You would take them out into a different room just so it didn't escalate. Did you ever find that difficult? Yeah, did you ever find that difficult having to always be that peacemaker? Because it was quite a fiery series, the last one.
I think I got in a lot of trouble for always looking like I wanted to get involved. The truth of the matter is, I see conflict sometimes and it's so petty. And honestly, I probably just didn't come across in the house, but I'm literally in my head like, shut the fuck up. There's people dying in the world. There's people that are homeless. There's people with not money. Are you really that fucking mad because the tea bags are missing? Get your priorities straight. You know what I mean? Some arguments were just annoying, useless. What's the point of them? And some people around also like to look around and see where the cameras were. And I was like, get a grip, get over it. There's worse things going on in the world. Do you know what I mean? Like, so I kind of thought, lads, we're here to have a bit of a laugh. I mean, for fuck's sake, we're in a little house. There's 16 of us. Let's have a laugh. So I just
sorry,
didn't like.
My son's just trying to ring me, so can I just jump off and then come back on?
Of course, yeah, no problem.
Go on, darling.
How do I do
Go on, darling.
Leave.
Yeah.
Do I?
Yeah, leave, Zoe.
Right,
yeah, bye.
1 minute.
You would have been evicted.
Oh, finally, Isaac, it's just us.
We got Cameron joining in just a moment as well. But you know, I wanted to actually talk about Cameron to you two, because as a fan of the show, watching, he was extremely grumpy, and you would never think he was going to win the show. But he came into his own, and he wasn't bitchy. He would say what he had to say to people's faces. Did you find that as well when you were around him, that he would confront people to their face?
Yeah, I think so. Well,
yeah, he would. I think all of Cameron's grumpy moments were shown. So, like, it made him look really grumpy.
Yeah.
But, like, I had grumpy moments in there, but they were just never shown. Do you get me? Like, it was very easy to typecast him as that type of person. But, like, genuinely, he used to be, like, a right laugh. Like, he genuinely wasn't always moody. Like, you could go and have a laugh with him.
Yeah.
He just kind of, I suppose, had that disposition about him, but it was only a small part of his character, I think.
I never felt any way around Cameron at all. We used to just have a laugh.
Yeah, I had a laugh with him, especially after a few drinks. I knew I could get, like, attention and, like, have a childish laugh with Cameron. Yeah. So I would go to him just, like, for that. And, like, no, he was grand. Like, I think he'd get in his head a bit, but we all got in our heads. And he came across more grumpy, whereas I would come across more anxious. That's just how he handled things in his head.
Now, a big part of Big Brother is, of course, the tasks in the show. So I wanted to ask, what for you stands out as your favourite task? Because I love do you remember, is it the aeroplane? And, I mean, Isaac had a bit of a row on that plane. But, I mean, what was your favourite one, Kian?
Halloween, 100%. I loved Halloween.
Yeah.
And Isaac, what did you like?
I was gone. I was off ski by then, mate.
But you were there for the plane task, because that, of course, you had I don't know what happened. If I remember,
I was so wounded about that. You know, I was so wounded about that after, like, because we was on there for like 4 hours, or maybe 5. Yeah. I don't even know. We was on there for a few hours still, and there's babies crying, and the baby didn't start crying until at least 3 hours in. So you're already like, when's this going to end, sort of thing. And the baby starts crying, and then we get given the Mandarin to learn, and everyone's speaking out loud, like quietly, but some people are doing it loud. And I just lost my head for like a split second. You know what I mean? And just kind of snapped, and then as soon as I lost it for that split second, I knew I was in the wrong, innit? But you kind of just got to carry on going.
Yeah.
Kind of just carried on going a little bit, and then once it had happened and she sort of stormed out, I was just wounded sitting there, and then I said sorry to her. Pretty much, we got back after that, didn't we? That happened, and we got back.
Yeah, you apologised really, really, really quickly.
Yeah, I felt like an idiot, and even after I'd said sorry and she said it was okay, I still felt like a knob.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Speaking of Kennedy, she just texted me. She's coming on.
Oh, perfect. What I did want to say is it must be hard in there because we only see 1 hour of the show in a 24-hour day, but a lot of times it seems like you were struggling for food in there. So when you kind of look at being tired, a lack of food, that must make you very irritable in the house. So the littlest things must set you off. Did you ever find that for you, Kian? Because you were so happy-go-lucky. I can't remember ever seeing you down. You always just brought like happiness to the house.
I think I can think of one time I got very irritable, very irritated, sorry. And I remember can you remember, Isaac? I went out to you and Shan in the garden and I just ranted. Can you remember? I had like a fight with Lewis F. and Cameron. You and Shan were out smoking and I literally came out and I just ranted.
I remember watching that.
I can't, you know.
I feel like if you see, I remember coming out, I ranted for a good half an hour. I just kind of let things out. And that was it. And that was it. And whoever would listen stuck in the room. But no, I think you were quite good, Isaac, actually, for not getting in your head. You you were always kind of like solid in there. Do you know what I mean? You always knew what you were getting with you. You were always on that level. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Of course.
Right, Zoe's coming back now. She disappeared, but she's joining us again. Zoe, we didn't get a chance to ask you then. What was your favourite task during your time on the show?
Definitely Halloween, and I get scared really easy, but it was I have not laughed that much in ages. When there were me, Brooke and Cameron, we had to go into that room, and there were things jumping out of like coffins and stuff, and Cameron was scared, so that I just couldn't stop laughing, and they were hiding behind me and Brooke. And then we were all trying to get behind each other, and it was so funny. And then when we got all whatever we needed to get, the sweets or whatever it was, and we started making our way towards the door, they literally chased us down the corridor. And I swear to God, I have never been so scared in my life. But yeah, that was one of the best ones. And I tell you what, was really, really rewarding about the plane task was all that food on that table when we got out. Oh my! I just inhaled like 5 ducks, and it were amazing.
I didn't know duck until that day. I discovered duck that day.
Remember in the China test, me and you got called into the diary room for this weird. It never meant it on TV. Remember, we don't know to this day what it meant. There was just a fish in the room and Mandarin writing. We don't know what we had to do. So then we said, oh my God, do we have to slap each other with the fish? So we went to like take off our tops and slap each other with it, and Big Brother called us into the diary room. Like,
the door just unlocked, didn't it? They didn't call us. The door just went from red to green.
It did. And remember when we went back into
unlocked,
the house?
as in like, get out, you idiots.
Yeah, we didn't know what to do with this fish. He had a harmonica in his mouth as well, didn't he?
Yeah. Didn't you? You blew it as well, didn't you? I swear you blew that.
Oh, I blew the shit out of it. What's new? Of course I blew it.
You blew the head clean off.
I blew the hell out of that fish.
So now, I wanted to ask everyone on the call, when you think back to your time in the house, what's your favourite moment? So what stands out as something you just enjoyed that always makes you kind of smile when you think back to it? And we'll start with Kian.
There was a lot. There was a lot. Do you know what I loved? I loved launch night. I loved launch night, when just watching everyone come through the door and just, we all could relate to the past 2 weeks and how many months back, and we all just kind of got to know each other. There was, I really liked launch night. I really liked my date with Zoe. That was fun. The Halloween task I really enjoyed, and I really enjoyed leaving the house. As bad as that sounds, I was ready to go. Going up them stairs, it was like pure euphoria. I was ready to go home.
Yeah.
And what about you, Isaac?
Do you remember when we done them little show things?
Like the interviews?
Yeah, no. Then I can't remember if it was like the first night, the second night. But they didn't show
it. In the bedroom.
Yeah.
And you
used to be the host.
Joe.
It was so funny.
Yeah, we'd pretend we was getting some we're presenters on a stage, innit? And getting someone interviewing them and that, and someone would get up and be interviewed, and they'd do some funny shit, and the presenter would do some funny. It was just funny.
Yeah.
But they didn't show it. But I remember they showed, that bit where I was like, "Let him fucking talk."
Yeah.
That bit. Fucking. That was in the show, innit? When because Anna Amelia said something, or I can't really remember it.
I think Anna Amelia and Lewis were having a row or something.
Yeah.
That.
And then she just turned on to me, didn't she? Boom.
Mm.
Yeah, that was a bit of a mazza. But
And well, unfortunately, Cameron's not going to make it. He said so. We're not going to have Cameron today. And you said that Anna Kennedy might be joining, didn't you, Kian?
I did. She
they've all sacked her.
texted me there being like, she'll join in a minute.
They've all sacked her off.
Zoe, so what stands out to you as your favourite moment? Something that you always look back to with kind of fondness.
I don't think this got shown, but they were when me and Kian were in the pool and we were just pretending to be loads of different sea life animals. And we were pretending to be seals at one point. So we were both laid like seals on the edge of the pool, and we made Cameron be a polar bear and run after us to try and eat us. And we had to get into the pool like this, like being seals. We couldn't use our hands. That was funny. Don't sound it now, but it was.
I was listening. I was like, oh my God, we're so weird.
We are really weird. When we were pretending to be mermaids. I also loved that me and Isaac had this thing where Isaac would do something and it were a really serious matter. Like someone might be giving their really serious opinion, but then Isaac, do your face, Isaac could do something with his spit, he'd be like, and then that just set me off, and then we'd just be giggling like two little kids. But what else did I enjoy? There's so many things that were like so good, and you forget until someone brings it up. And you think, oh God, yeah, that was so funny. Or what else? I loved Halloween. Yeah, I can't think off the top of my head, but there were just so many different things.
Well,
I like that task, you know. I like that first task we did when you had to run around and slap the thing on them, the little beanbag thing that sticks on them.
Yeah,
that's
what I mean. You forget.
That was good. I forgot about that. Yeah, that was fun.
Fucking run the garden, yeah.
Well, as I say, from the good times to the kind of not so good times, what stands out as the toughest moment during your whole experience? So, you know, something that stands out where it's just kind of tough to deal with. It can kind of be anything from your experience. We got someone else joining now as well, so we'll see who that is. But we'll start with Kian.
100%. The only thing that I really I look back on like that is not getting my letter from home. Simple as.
Yeah. That's because when you see everybody else getting that must be hard to take, because you're seeing everyone be happy. You've got to put that fake smile where you're happy for them, but actually you're probably hurting inside as well.
I think I was happy, and then when it was all done, like I was happy for Cameron, Shannon, and Zoe getting theirs. Then when it was all done, I was like, oh, I want to read mine. I wonder what my parents said, but I just had to get out of that.
Mine were to me and you.
Yeah, to be fair, I had I had like my own little paragraph in Zoe's letter, so that was definitely the silver lining of that, definitely.
And what about for you, Isaac? What did you find tough, if anything, you know, in the house?
Well, at the time, it was Lewis leaving was the most upset I was, I think. Until I left, obviously, I was pretty upset. But I was ready to leave as well at the time that I did leave. Same way, I kind of felt like that was my time, innit?
Yeah.
As cliche as that sounds. But,
I think when you left, that were the most upset that anyone had been for an eviction.
Yeah, definitely.
We were all absolutely devastated, and it must have been hard on Isabella and Hussein coming in, because we were all just like so miserable that the fact that Isaac had just left. But yeah, it was hard for everyone, that.
And what about for you, Zoe? Because obviously you know you're a mum as well, so I imagine that was tough. Was there anything else that stands out as being the toughest for you?
So obviously missing my son, and then there was I hated the prison task, because some of the housemates made out like I were an absolute twat, and I wasn't. Like when we were giving, we had to give some positives and some negatives about the prisoners, and we used their characters. So like we, I think it was Brooke and Louis F that were really upset with me, and they started saying that I was being two-faced. But Cameron and Shan were doing exactly the same, so I think they must have thought that I was just an easy target. which really upset me because I was close to both of them. And then when I realised that none of them were talking to me, I questioned them, and I went up to Brooke and I was like, "What? Are you not talking to me? Are we all right?" And I think she explained a little bit what was going on. And then I went to Louis F. And he was one of them where it really got to me because he went, "Well, if you don't know, like, you know, when a woman says it to the boyfriend, and it's, I'm not saying that we were boyfriend and girlfriend, by the way, just putting that on there. But you know, when they use that kind of terminology, I was just so gutted, and I was like, I genuinely don't know what I've done. And then someone told me that this is why they were upset, because of the negatives that you put down. So I tried explaining to him, you know, it was your prisoner character that we were focusing on, not you, not Brooke and not Lewis. Like, it were your characters. So that really got to me. I think I started sulking, and I talked because I was good at that. And I took my uniform off and went and laid on bed, and it was Thomas that came and spoke to me, and he sorted me out. And then what else were there? Obviously the Hussein argument that upset me. So yeah, I think them two were and obviously missing my son.
I think we've got Kennelly on the call now. I don't know if you can hear us.
Hey!
Hey,
Yeah, I was having some technical issues.
Thank you so much for coming on the reunion.
No worries.
So what I'll do, because you've missed a few questions that we've asked everyone, if I kind of ask you a few questions to start with, and then you'll be up to date. So firstly, I asked everyone why they wanted to actually take part in Big Brother. What was it about the show that, you know, made you want to be on it?
You know what? I said for a few years before I actually went on, I used to say it when I went uni and stuff. And that's why, like, when I came out, my friends were like, "Oh my God, you actually went on it and you said it." I think my mum, like, applied before. And then it was just something I always wanted to do. Like, when I finished uni, I was just like, I'm just going to go on. Like, I don't know what it was, but it was just like, I knew I wanted to go on it.
And then is there a moment that stands out as something that you always kind of laugh at, that just makes you laugh every time you think back to your time in the house?
Just all of it. Literally.
Any tasks?
Yeah, it was true.
Stand out?
It's just mad. Like, I don't know. It's just literally everything. Even just being there, like, it was mad.
And then what did you find most difficult about your experience? What kind of stands out as just being really tough to deal with?
When I was sandwich.
All right, I'm just on the phone. Say that again, sorry. My mumsy in the back.
Who's that? Is that?
Yeah, look, it's everyone.
Hi.
Oh, look, there's Keaton. Yeah.
No,
sorry, say that again.
So what did you find most difficult about being in the house? What was the toughest part of your experience?
I think just certain, like, arguments and stuff, and I think sometimes I would hold back a little bit when I think something. I just think probably, like, sometimes not giving a fuck and just expressing, like, things that you do really think or that's on your mind.
Yeah.
Probably that, really. And obviously being away from home, because sometimes, because you're there on your own, you think something, but then you think, like, you know, like when you talk to your friends about stuff or you talk to someone about it, they sort of, like, give you like a, like, clarity on it, if that makes sense, and a different, because you haven't really got no one like that, it's hard to, like, sort of know if you're doing the right thing, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
And well, this question's now for all of you, because I don't know, you know, what it must be like, but you're in the house, you've got no access to the outside world, social media, nothing like that. So do you get anxious not knowing what the public think about you? You know, do you kind of worry about getting booed when you hear the crowd noise? Like, what's that experience like for all of you?
Yeah, I think it's mad, like, because you don't know. And that's what I mean as well, because you don't know, and then there's no clarity from people that you do know that's around you, people that know you. You just feel like, oh my gosh. And then you don't know what bits they've shown or whatever. So,
trust me. You don't know we don't know what you said that day that might be getting shown or what might not.
Or what might be edited in a different context.
Edited. I remember I was watching it back one time, and I was like cutting of me making a face at some certain conversation, but I wasn't even involved in that conversation. I was thinking, what the fuck?
So do sometimes the things, so you might say do something on day 3, but they'll use that clip a few days later. Do they kind of decide what order they put it in?
No, maybe not on this. I don't know about, like, taking it for different days, but, like, different situations. Like the face you made,
Wow.
fucking yeah.
Got my connection.
There we go. You're back now.
I'm back.
So
Yeah.
Back on the scene.
you
I
were just
remember
saying then
when-
you found it kind of difficult not knowing what the audience's perceptions were of you.
Yeah, definitely.
But it's weird
100%.
because I went in there and I'm the kind of person, if I don't really care what people say or think about me.
Yes.
As long as I know that I've done something good for someone, or like if
Yeah.
I know that I've upset someone and I didn't mean to, I'll apologise. Obviously, if you try to upset someone on purpose, don't apologise. If they're being, horrible to you, just try and like have it out with them, and then it's done. But do you remember, Kian, when we were up for it was the last vote or something? So we were all up, and me and Kian, were it me and you? I think it was
No,
me and
you and Cameron had never faced the public
Oh
before.
me and Cameron would never face the public vote, and I were like, it was such a weird feeling because I was like, oh, what if they don't like me? And but normally I just won't care, and it's like, if you don't want me,
Yeah.
that's fine, I'll just go.
I think that's what's a bit mad.
Yeah, and
'Cause
but I think
in the
it was
real
like,
world,
we're very similar in that kind of
Yeah.
aspect. But when I came out for a couple of, I think it took me about 3 weeks to get back to not giving a shit or blasting people
Mhm.
back in the comments that were giving me shit.
yeah.
And as soon as I did that, the negative comments stopped. So yeah, it was weird how it had that psychological effect. Yeah.
Yeah, I
Very-
agree, because I feel like in the real world you won't care. And then I think sometimes as well, like now I could kick myself. Obviously it is what it is, but now I feel like I could kick myself because I think, why the fuck did you care about what people thought?
Yeah.
But like, I don't understand why. Like it's crazy. But I think
Yeah.
obviously it's because there's so many people judging you. Like, but so what?
Yeah.
So I feel like that annoys me a little bit because I feel like I shouldn't have been bothered.
Yeah. I feel exactly the same.
Well, a
Oi,
big part
Lewis,
of Big
mate.
Brother.
Oi, sorry to cut you off.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to shoot off.
Isaac, well,
Oh, your
thank
hair
you
looks sick though.
for coming on. I just want to say, what
Your
do
hair
you
looks
do
sick.
now? Since leaving the house, what do you do now? I'll ask you that.
I play football and personal trainer, mate.
Nice.
But yeah, the personal trainer's going really well, actually, mate. I'm training like 10 people a day every day, like
Oh,
for
well
Monday,
done,
Tuesday,
you.
Wednesday, Thursday. Yeah, do you know what? Finally, it took me a minute, but I'm finally getting somewhere with it. So yeah,
Yeah, well
and
done.
the football as well.
Yeah.
I'm playing at a decent standard now, like a better standard that I was before. So I'm just trying to, keep my head down, bro. This whole Corona thing was kind of a spanner in the works, but yeah, just trying to move forward, man. Not
Isaac,
a
thank
little
you
you
for
no
coming
more.
on.
Yeah, no problem. I enjoyed it. Enjoyed seeing everyone too.
Nice to
Yeah,
see
nice
you.
seeing you.
Yeah, all right then, you lot. Enjoy.
See you
See you
later.
later.
See you later. Bye.
Bye.
Well, hopefully we'll still get Cameron on if he gets out of his traffic. But a big part of Big Brother is, of course, the nominations. So what is that like? Because I want to know what it's like to nominate. But is it awkward when you come out of the diary room and you kind of have, you've nominated someone, but then you have to talk to them? Is there a weird awkwardness with that moment, Kian?
Yeah,
I mean,
I think so.
It depends who I were nominated, because as the weeks went on, it got really, really hard. Because you're mates with everyone at this point. But
Yeah.
at the beginning, and then
At the start, I was okay. Like,
Yeah.
I was okay at the start, and then it kind of came to like week 4, and I was like, oh shit, I'm kind of just like splitting hairs here. Do you know what I mean? I'm splitting hairs.
Yeah,
But
that's
then-
true.
it made me feel bad, like about, I don't know, 5 weeks in, who I had been nominated, because I got quite close.
Who I nominated before.
friends with them.
Yeah, exactly. Being like,
Yeah.
oh, I wish I could change
Yeah.
that now because I really like you now.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, 100%.
I mean,
But no,
when
it's
you
the name
watch
of the
it-
game.
Exactly. I was going to say, when you
That's
watch
it.
it and you see people get really upset about being nominated, when you're watching from a TV, you kind of think this is what you've signed up for. It's part of the experience.
Yeah.
But it can also be hard when you think you're friends with people in the house and then you hear your name up for nomination. It must make you think, what have you done wrong? Do people not like you? You're probably questioning how many people have nominated you. Did you do
Yeah.
that? Did you kind of look and think, right, that one did, that one
Yeah,
did?
yeah, I'd think, probably haven't got one from that person. I might have got one from that person. Could have
Yeah.
got one from that person. But again, it's that thing where I'm one of them people that I would watch it and think, why are they even bothered? Like, it's just a game. Like, but then actually being in it brings out emotions and things that you wouldn't even normally be bothered about. You start to actually care, like because that becomes your environment. Like that's what matters. So then you start to like worry about like who likes you, who don't like you. You're like, oh, who's gonna nominate me, who's not? And then like I'd look around and I'd think, did they just like talk to me like that because they've nominated me? Like it just makes you so paranoid.
Well, the last question for everyone now is, what's life been like since leaving the house? So how did you find kind of being on this show, being put into the limelight, and what do you do now for work? So starting with Kian.
I suppose my life hasn't changed too much. I think just a few more people know me now. To be honest, you know, my family calls me Keen from the telly now as opposed from Keen. And I'm back working full time. I work for New Look. I'm a visual merchandiser. I'm going back to college doing fashion buying, and I'm just having a really good time. I'm drinking too much whiskey, and I am swiping right to everyone on Tinder, and they're not swiping right back. But you know what? I don't give a shit. So life is completely the same.
Absolutely love that. What about you, Zoe? What's life been like since leaving the house, and how did you find the whole experience coming out of the house?
It were a bit crazy. I think the party what were it called? After party.
The after party.
Oh yeah.
I think the after party kind of got me ready for what were to come in the next week or so, with everyone wanting pictures and stuff. And when I got back to my hometown, like I stayed with my sister for a few days. They wouldn't let me go to Tesco. They were like, no, because you'll never get out of there. And I'm like, don't be so ridiculous. Like, let's go to Tesco. So I went in for necessities in Tesco, and I ended up being there for like an hour. And I was like, like you all knew me before. Why are you being weird?
Yeah. No one was bothered then.
Yeah. And then people started getting a bit bored of me after like a month in my hometown. It's like, but some people still do ask me for like a picture and stuff. But when we went to Ireland, when I went to go and stay with Kian, we went to that club, didn't we? My God, I felt like I was walking down red carpet because everyone was like, oh my God. And I was like, it's been a year. What's wrong with you? Like,
I know, yeah. I think it's because we don't have a big brother in
weird.
Ireland. So, like, I think because I was like the only Irish housemate that was like all of Ireland. So I remember it was like even when Shan came over and Zoe, people were like, oh my God, it's that genuinely Zoe.
Wow.
And you're like, yeah, it's me, Zoe, it's Mama.
It
Like,
was
Zoe in the flesh.
Like, mad. It's mad.
Yeah, but yeah, I'm still a carer for my son. I've started painting. These are some of them I've done myself. Yeah, yeah, and just I got a job at my brother-in-law's doing office work. I think he just felt sorry for me. And then I lost that during lockdown. So just back to being Junaid's I was Junaid's carer anyway. And just like starting loads of DIY jobs, not finishing them, doing some other DIY jobs, not finishing them.
As you do.
And in COVID times. What about you, Kennedy? What have life been like for you since leaving the house, and what do you do now?
So I work at Boots head office, just like on the phones. Yeah, I enjoy it and stuff. I don't actually know what I want to do in the long run. I might start up my YouTube again because I never did it consistently at all. But coming out of the house, yeah, it was just mad. Like people obviously noticing you and stuff, and you just think, oh, it's only me. Like it was a bit crazy. Like, and then like even now when I'm out and stuff, people be like, "Are you Kennedy?" It's always, "Are you Kennedy from Big Brother?" This Kennedy from Big Brother. And then like I'll just randomly be like down the street and people will like ask for my snap or want to take a picture and stuff. It is crazy, but it's been good. I just think, I don't know, like I don't know what I expected to happen when I did come out. So I'm literally just the same. Like I'm just Kennedy that's been on Big Brother, like, but my life just hasn't changed.
Well, I've got to say thank you to all of you for coming on. We're meant to have a much bigger lineup, but I mean Cameron was stuck in traffic, Thomas couldn't make it. So we probably would end up doing a part 2, but it's been so good to hear about your experience. And one thing I do want to quickly kind of finish off with, obviously, when people were on the Channel 4 series, Big Brother was very different in regards to, I know that you just said then, Zoe, like you knew what was coming up for the week after, but most people, when you leave Big Brother, it'd be months after, you know, the
Yeah.
fame and the bookings. Looking back, do you wish that you could have been on the Channel 4 series?
No, because
I
then
mean,
I wouldn't have
I
met all
think-
my housemates.
Yeah, true.
Oh.
True.
I wouldn't have met you
I
guys.
think it's supposed to happen the way it's supposed to happen. Like,
Yeah.
we were supposed to go on that one. That was our time. Like, that was the
That
one.
was our time.
Yeah.
And we fucked
I would
that
have
shit up. That was our
appreciated.
Yes,
I would have-
bitch.
I would have appreciated a few paid gigs after, but it's fine. You know.
Zoe was convinced that we were going to be on like Loose Women when we came out. Remember?
Is that what you wanted?
Get up on this morning.
Oh yeah, fucking hell. I wouldn't have minded a bit of Loose Women.
Yeah.
Even fucking celebrity catchphrase. I would have been so happy
Honestly.
with that. No.
Celebrity catchphrase. You were planning what you wanted to be on. I think that Cameron might be joining any moment now. He's in, so if he is, we'll get a couple of minutes with Cameron. But for all of you in there, was he a deserved winner? Is that someone that you thought, were you happy that he had won the show?
Yeah, I was happy Cameron being the winner. Being in that house. I was, yeah.
Yeah.
Zoe?
I was shocked. I honestly thought Kim were going to win. But yeah, I think whoever were going to win, I would have been happy for him.
Yeah, exactly.
I
Yeah.
would have been, genuinely. I would have been happy with anyone winning. 100%. But no, I think we all got through it together. Anyone was a deserving winner. But yeah.
If
I don't know what to say.
I was going to say, if they had asked you to go
It
back
is
in the
what
house,
it is.
Excuse me?
would you go back into the house if they asked you?
Oh,
I
yeah,
would.
do you know what?
Yeah.
I really would. I would.
Hell yeah.
I would.
I think I'd be more outspoken this time as well because I was so
I
Yeah,
would
I'd
worried
just go
about.
and be like,
Yeah, but it wasn't even. It
you
wasn't
just
even
be
about what people
unapologetically
thought.
yourself. Like,
Yeah, it were like people's feelings in the house. I didn't want to upset. But looking back, like I would have, and because my son had just started high school, I did want to go on there and be like, you know, it's all right to be a normal like size 14 and have stretch marks, and I wanted to get it all out. But obviously, with Junaid starting high school, they'd be like, obviously, it's your mum, which wouldn't have bothered me, but it would have bothered Junaid. So that's why I was wearing cycling shorts and a one piece and just being a mermaid like that.
You are sexy
Yeah, I
in your
think-
own way.
yeah.
How does it
Yeah, I
feel?
just think I would go on and just be unapologetically myself.
Yeah.
And obviously, as long as you mean well and you're true to yourself, then if other people are upset, that's their problem. I feel like I'd have more of that attitude.
Yeah, I totally agree. I'd be exactly the same.
Or if I went, I would have been kinder to myself and my thoughts in that house and just did what I genuinely felt. What I genuinely felt in that time.
Because I think as a group, we were all really nice, kind people, and we thought of each other's feelings before we actually said them.
Yeah, we did.
In most circumstances. You know, and the only times that we kind of went to blows is when we were personally upset, when someone had upset us. Like with me and Hussein and Kenny and Isaac and Kian, when if he wanted to get involved, he can get involved.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, it were like we had been personally upset by something that triggered that. But as like literally, if it wasn't the same day, it'd have been the next day. Would have made up again. Like I did with Hussein, and we were absolutely fine after that.
I was saying, we've got Cameron on the call. He can hear and see us, but we can't see and hear him. So he's trying to work out his technical
Cameron,
side.
come on.
That's what I was doing.
Hi,
I kept
Cameron.
going in and out. Hey.
How did you manage to do it, Kennedy? It might give him some help.
I had a thing that was popping up, like go on settings, and then you go to your settings in your phone, then you go on privacy, and then you tap Zoom, like so it gives the audio onto it. And then when I came on this, you have to like at the bottom, it's got mine had stop video with a line across it. And you have to tap that off, so then
Start the video and then call over internet or something, isn't it?
I called over internet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So hopefully he'll be able to come in a couple of minutes. But one thing I wanted to speak to everyone about is, you know, when you go out to the crowd reaction and you're walking up those stairs, the doors open, and then you just got the crowd going mad. You've got the paparazzi, you've got Emma standing there. What's that experience like, and how does it feel? Is it daunting? Do you just, as soon as
I
It's
hand on my
overwhelming.
heart. I was
We were quite
sober. I
lucky.
can't remember.
We were quite lucky, me and Kian, because we
Yeah,
had
we
each
got to
other.
go
We came out together.
Oh
We were
yeah,
literally, our hands were like
Yeah.
cement
Yeah.
together.
it was so overwhelming. It was mad. But the only thing I would say is the crowd isn't as overwhelming as what it looks on TV though.
Yeah,
Like,
I
it's not
agree.
as-
It's not
It's not as big
overwhelming.
and wild. It's not as big and wild as it actually
Yeah.
looks.
I agree. I actually thought
Wow.
that as well. It's not as like in your face.
Yeah,
It's loud, but it's
Yeah.
a lot more subtle than it comes across
Mhm.
on the telly.
yeah, 100%.
Yeah. Like,
And
you
then-
can't hear the music. Ooh.
Being interviewed by Emma must be nice as well, because she's such a fan of the show as well. And she's been
Beautiful.
watching.
How
Oh, she's
beautiful
stunning.
is
Her
she?
Her eyes in real life
Her
were even
eyes.
better. I was
Oh,
like,
she's
you're
wonderful.
actually better.
Oh,
You're actually better in person.
Cameron's
Oh,
here.
Gorgeous.
Hi, Cameron.
Hey.
hey everyone.
How
Yeah,
are you,
right.
Cameron? Thank you for coming on.
I'm so sorry for being so late, especially considering I was the one that was the reason it's on this day. I'm so sorry. My life's a mess.
I was
today.
late too. Don't worry about it.
Oh, gee.
You
So
made
basically,
it.
How
what I'll
is-
do is ask you the same questions that we've asked everybody else, and you'll probably end up remembering stuff with the other housemates. So firstly, what was it about the show that made you want to take part in Big Brother? Because you were a massive fan, weren't you?
Yeah, that was wise. To be honest, like, because people always say to me, "Oh, did you not want to do any other TV shows?" And not really. I just wanted to do Big Brother. That was all I really wanted to do. It wasn't really about TV. Like, it wasn't that fussed about being on TV. I mean, I'd have done it if there was no cameras and no prize of anything. I just wanted to do it. Just 'cause I thought I always loved the show. I just thought the concept was so cool, and I just wanted to experience that and sort of like just like the is that the right word? Psychological. I can't speak
Yeah.
properly.
the one.
Psychological side of the show. I always found really interesting, and how different people interact. You know, people who never really will ever have to interact again, almost in the sense, or people you'd never come into contact with in real life. You know, I'd never have met Thomas in Norfolk. I wouldn't have done. It just wouldn't have happened. And you know, I've met him, and now we're still great friends, and we still talk all the time. It's that type of a thing. It really taught me that no matter where you're from, what your upbringing is, what your history, your background is, what the age of the individual is, etc., you can be friends with anyone. You can find something in common with anyone, and you can have a good time with anyone and make amazing memories. And it really did. It was an amazing experience, and I do miss it a lot. And sorry for looking absolutely horrific. What's going on is going on with. I've rushed in. I should have probably done my hair, but even if I'd have done my hair, it would still look this bad. So,
Well, talking of your hair,
We move.
I mean, one of the funniest moments from your series, I think, was when you had the haircut, because it was such a transformation. And when we were watching, it was like you went in there to get your haircut, but it was so different. And as viewers, we didn't know if you were being polite, if you really liked it. So when they did such a dramatic transformation, what were your initial reactions looking in the mirror? Were you happy?
well, the thing is, I hated how it looked. Like, completely hated how it looked. I hated my hair. I thought it was ridiculous. It had been like that for like 8 years, and because it got so long, I was so scared to make it short or do anything radical. And I didn't know that you could perm hair. Like, I didn't know you could perm my hair. I didn't think you could curl it. I didn't think any of that was possible. So then when I think it was it Sean who someone said to me, "Oh, you can curl hair on boys." I was like, what? So then when she did it, I couldn't believe it. I was really happy. I was genuinely really, really happy. And I couldn't, even if I would have not liked it, I wouldn't have complained, because I was the one that asked them to do it. And, you know, I knew they weren't hairdressers. They did a fantastic job. I mean, you actually think about it, the fact that, you know, none of them are hairdressers. And to do that, I was
Well, they
thrilled.
are
And I
now.
think it just, it's very true. But I was very thrilled. It made me feel a bit more confident within myself and stuff, which so I'm very appreciative for all of them who I forget who ended up doing it now. I think it was Zozo, was it? I can't, cause see, the problem is I get mixed up with who was where and who wasn't there, and my memory's like a blooming goldfish. I can't remember what day of the week it is, like anything else. But it was, I was really happy with it. The only problem is, you know, I never look after the goddamn film, and look at it, it's just it looks terrible. But
oh, Zoe's coming back now. I wanted to
about
ask
to
you
say,
what your
where's Zoe
favourite moment was, because in the edits, for the first couple of weeks, you came across as someone who wasn't enjoying himself in there. Like, you know, people would say Cameron's being grumpy, but Kian said earlier it wasn't like that. You were very much life and soul of the party as such in that
Oh,
house.
I appreciate that.
That's what Kian said earlier. So what stands out for you as your funniest moment when you think back to your experience, something that just makes you laugh?
Oh, yeah. To be fair, I don't think I was as miserable as people is made out to be. I mean, I'm a miserable person. I just think that's my humour. But it is what it is. I don't mind. You know, people say I'm miserable. That's fine. I wasn't very happy with my life when I went in the show. I'm still not happy now. But I was a very lost individual when I went in the show, and that was probably why for the first couple of weeks until, you know, I came out and things. I wasn't fully out, quite literally. I was not out myself and do anything. Funniest moment, I don't know, there were so many. I don't know how to pick one. I mean a lot of funny things that weren't even funny, really. That's the thing. I could say many of the things weren't even funny. They didn't get on the show, but to me they were very funny. I just enjoyed the kind of funny moments. I know it sounds silly, but when we were all kind of around the table and someone would say something and all of us would burst out laughing, and you just felt like a family. And it was lovely because before I went in Big Brother, I basically spent a year and a half in my bed on my own. So I hadn't socialised, I hadn't met people, and it was lovely to feel like, like a family and a connection to people again. And I missed it a lot. I'd go back in a heartbeat, but it's not going to happen. So get over it, Cameron.
I got to say, I said it earlier on in the show to the others. One thing I loved about you is you always, whatever you said about people, you would say it to their face. And some of the things that you would say to people, it was incredible, because some people watching the show, you just think someone needs to tell them. Like, if Akeem's being annoying, someone just please tell him to stop being so like regimental with everything. And you would be the guy to do it. So, I mean, is that you in kind of real life? Someone that you will just say it as it is?
Yeah, but I tried to do it in a polite way. I think you should. I mean, life's, you know, we're always learning in life. You know what I mean? You always learn. And I think, and if you think that you've learned everything in life, then you're very, very stupid. But I don't know. I think I am very upfront. I do say it like how I feel, but I try to do it in a polite way. I never meant any malice behind anything I said. I just would rather tell the person than, you know, have it stew on me. And usually the situation can be dealt with there and there. I mean, you know, Akeem was at times very annoying, but you know, it's Akeem, and I loved him for it. I didn't dislike anyone on that show. I've got no animosity to anyone. I loved everyone, and I learned something from everyone, and that's the honest truth. So even though, you know, when you're living with people, of course you argue and you say things, and the other person annoys. You know, I would have annoyed people myself, but I think if in life we all kind of were a bit honest about how we feel and we spoke the way we speak about people, then I think life would be a lot better. If we were kind but, you know, honest, I think that's the two big things. But I don't know. I might just be talking absolute nonsense. I don't know. I usually do.
I'm not laughing at that, by the way. It's just someone's phone vibrated, and at the same time, Kian moved, and it looked like he had broke wind. I couldn't stop laughing.
Oh, did it look like I farted? Oh no, I didn't. I promise. I think it's Kennelly. It's definitely your phone, because I could see the big nail going up. I'm like, who's texting Kennelly? Like, clearly, Kennelly is a fucking vibrator.
I just looked at your leg moved as it went off, and then Cameron was talking. I thought, oh, I'm gonna keep this.
I didn't.
Oh, that's amazing, Cameron. I mean, one relationship that was nice to watch in the house was your friendship with Lewis F at the time, because he was someone that you just seemed to feel at home with. You felt really comfortable. He gave you the platform to speak and be kind of who you are. So what was it about Lewis F in the house that you kind of related to? And what's, you know, your relationship like now? Are you still as close?
Well, no, we're not as close anymore. I haven't spoken to him for months. I don't really plan on. I don't wish anyone any, you know, bad luck or anything. So I hope he gets what he wants out of life. But I think our friendship, you know, you have friendships in life where they are in the moment, you know, and they serve you a purpose. And, you know, I don't want to look back on it and how I feel now about what's happened since stuff has gone on in the show. I'd rather just look back at it and say, you know, I'm very grateful for what he did for me in the show. I'm very grateful he was there for me. I'm very thankful. I do think that I should give myself a bit more credit for what I did, to be honest with you. I think I always do like to give him credit and say it was him and him. But I think, you know, I should probably give myself a little bit of credit because I did it still at the end of the day. But I'm very grateful for him, and it was lovely to have
I can't see. Oh.
Sorry,
it was lovely
guys.
to have a lovely, especially a straight friend who because I did think, am I ever going to have any straight friends again? As I'm sure a lot of, if you're gay, you've probably had that thought cross your mind once or twice, and sometimes that is the reality as well. So it was nice. But like I say, since then, lots of things have happened. He's said a lot of things as well. I don't agree with a lot of his recent opinions. I think they're disgusting. But I don't know. Unfortunately, I don't want to go into it. But he's a troubled guy, and I just hope I hope he finds happiness one day. I really do, because it's I think he's a very sad person, and I think that's probably why we got on so much in the house, because we both were so sad in very different ways. But we were both so sad and both so screwed up, and I think that's why we gravitated to one another. I think that's why a lot of people couldn't relate to us in that sense, because I'm not saying other people weren't, had their own issue. Of course they did. I'm not saying that, but we were very open about it and stuff like that. But I'm grateful for the friendship I had with him, and I try not to let things that have happened now sort of gloss over that. But it can be difficult. But it's about growing up and learning. You've got to learn from experiences and the people you meet, and that's all I try and do. Not very successfully, but I try.
And when you coming out was such a big thing. It was, you had the support of everyone. I remember Emma Willis, she was on the show saying how much she was touched by what you did. What was the reaction like from your family when you had left the house? Were you greeted by lots of support? Because that must have been something that you were thinking about a lot.
Well, yeah, according to still so many people, the family all knew. So, I was greeted by them telling me, "Oh, well done, the scam worked." But no, in reality, they were the actual real world. If we're not living in conspiracy land, it was very heartwarming. There was Facebook posts of my aunt saying, she just wished she could give me a hug on the day of the episode, and I do, it was hard, and it was in some ways it was easy for me, because I got to tell my whole family in just like that, and all my friends and everyone. I never had to say it. I'd have to tell anyone I'm gay. It's obvious, like just like that. I didn't mean like that. But I've said it on TV. I'd have to go around and have about 50 million awkward conversations with everyone, and it also gave people enough time, like family and stuff. Certainly. There's everyone who's got someone in their family. You might think, "Oh, are they going to be okay with it?" And it gave them time to sort of see that actually I was still the same person. I hadn't changed, and that things were, I was still Cameron, the Cameron they knew before. So it was, in some ways, it probably made it easier for me. Although I didn't feel like that in the moment, because the whole way through the rest of the show, even though again everyone thought I told my family, but I was genuinely concerned my family were going to disown. Not that there's any reason my family would never disown me, because we never ever do that because of that. It's just when you go through that internal battle for years, you just think the worst, and the worst case scenario is always going to be the case. So it was, the family were amazing, friends were amazing, the housemates, like I said, the housemates were incredible. I never forget it. It was a moment I dreaded ever since I realised I was gay. Absolutely dreaded the moment, and to have the reaction from them in there the way it was, and even people like Hussein, who I hadn't got on with. He'd only been in a day, and he came over, he hugged me, he said, well, it was heartwarming. Everyone, every single person who was in there, I'll hold a very special place in my heart. And it was, like I say, a moment that I dreaded, that in the end turned into, one of the most beautiful moments in my life. And although some days I think, should I wish I wouldn't have said it on there now, but everything happens for a reason. I think it was the right time at the end of the day. And it just so happened that it managed to be, unfortunately for me, again, shows my luck, that the right time is I'm blimmin' national television in Big Brother. Not ideal, but there we go. It is what it is. But no, I'm very grateful for everyone and how they reacted. Like I say, the housemates especially as well. And I mean that genuinely. I'm not just saying it because, I'm looking at a few of them. I'm not saying because Kean, Kenneline, sorry, I'm not saying it at all for that. Just genuinely, it was every single person. It was, I still can't watch it really, because it just, it makes you too sad. It was, I'd never expected a reaction like that. It was beautiful, and I'm very, very grateful for the reaction I got from the people I care about, and that's all I cared about. The housemates, my family, my friends, what Doris on Twitter saying, well, I did what Doris on Twitter saying does affect me. I'll pretend it doesn't, but it does. So, but you know, in the grand scheme, it don't really matter, does it? What Doris is saying, or whoever for that matter.
I mean, it did help people, though. And the thing is, I totally can relate to you as well, because I think what would have helped a lot of people watching you is when you come out, there is that need sometimes to have straight friends, and what I mean by that is you can't. It makes you feel accepted in a way when you do have a close straight friend. So I get that. And I think for you, for the nation to see you come out and be supported by every single person in that house, like you said, Hussein was so supportive to you. Lewis F, you've got all these straight males that were getting behind you and supporting you. I think it helped a lot of people kind of realise, do you know what, this is actually okay. And I know that I've seen tweets that people have sent you saying that from you doing that in the house gave them the strength to come out. So have you had people reach out to you and say that, you know, to yourself?
Yeah. Well, I always find these questions uncomfortable because I don't want to like sound like I'm blowing, you know, oh, look at me, you know, everyone's telling me that I help them come out. But yeah, no, people do say that. And I think, you know, I don't think people should be thanking me for them coming out. I think they should be thanking themselves. It's all I did was something thousands of people do every single day. It just so happened at the time I happened to be on television. You know, it's that simple. I did no different to what anyone else did. And the fact that I'm able to help people out has kind of made the kind of homophobia, the kind of stuff that I've read on the Twitter, you know, the people telling me that, you know, you've turned the whole world gay, you should kill you. You know, it's made it all worth it because, you know, I can take the crap. Like, it make no difference to me. Every day's the same for me anyway. So it don't make no difference to me. But the fact that you know, I don't personally understand how I helped, but the fact that people say I have helped and helped them be accepted, I'll take it with me for the rest of my life. And you know, when I am very, very down and very, very sad and in my darkest moments and stuff, I do think of that and think about what those people have said. So it means more to me. I can't articulate just how much it means to me because there's no real words I don't think that could, and I'm not clever enough to articulate myself well enough to be able to say thank you enough. But genuinely, it honestly. Yeah, whenever I read it, it means the world. The reaction from everyone in the house, like their friends, family, and like I say, people messaging me saying that I've helped them or helped them accept themselves, or that they told their family after I did. And you know, I just hope that, you know, it's such a difficult thing, but I hope that if there are people out there still, that they don't necessarily use my coming out, but they use everyone's coming out, all the people that have come out, you know, to give them strength that you can do it, you will do it, and you'll be fine. And once you do it, the world isn't always your oyster. You know, it's not always your oyster. When you come out, people think coming out and then everything's amazing. It's not necessarily like that, but you start to accept yourself and you can start to build your life, because you only get one life and there's no point living a lie. There's no point living a lie, because all you'll do is just get to the end of it and just regret not what you could have done and what you couldn't be. You've got to be authentic in life, and it just takes time, and everyone has a different time frame, and everyone has a different way, and there's no right or wrong way. There's millions of ways to come out, and it's whatever way you. That's what a lot of people used to ask me, you know, how should I come out? And I said, I don't know. I mean, I don't on national television. I wouldn't advise that. That would be one I'd say no to. But I always would say there's multiple ways. You know, try and find your way. You know, and people said, oh, when am I going to know it's the right time? And I think it's like with anything. You know, when it's the right time, you just know it's the right time. Yeah. Sorry, I feel like I'm just going on and on and on, and I've come in it late, and now I've just taken over the things.
No, because they've already answered all these, so you'll see it back in the reunion. I mean,
yeah, no, I look forward to actually seeing all of your answers, because I just come in, I haven't seen anyone's answer. I'm just talking about myself.
You were a history maker because you were the last ever winner of Big Brother as well. So that must be incredible in the sense that you are literally a huge Big Brother fan, and you are now the last winner of the entire 19 series that there's been. Is that something that you kind of look back with fondness on?
The thing is, I always don't like doing it, because I always feel like, you know, I don't want to give myself an ego complex. I don't like it. I don't know how it happened. I really don't. I'm very grateful that it did. It still doesn't feel real, really. I just like I say, I just can't believe any of it happened, really. That just doesn't. How did it? It baffles me. I still can't. I don't think I've still processed any of it, to be honest with you. But again, that's the story of my life. I don't process anything. That's why I'm so depressed. But I don't know. It was.
yeah, it's madness, really. If I'd have told myself this 6 years ago, and I was watching it, or 6, 7, 8 years ago, and I was watching the show, you'd be the last winner and the youngest winner, I'd be like, you're having a laugh, aren't you? But somehow it happened, and I don't know how. I guess if there's ever inspiration, if you're in your life, I was in my bedroom for a year and a half before Big Brother, depressed, couldn't get out of bed, and I got out of bed, went on Big Brother and won. I mean, if there's ever any, only some inspiration, I mean, I'm still depressed after, but we'll leave that part out. We'll pretend that after it was amazing and my life was but you've got to just follow your heart in life, do what you love. Everyone spends too much time in their life worried about what other people think, and scared to do the things that they love because they're embarrassed what other people think. You like flowers, fucking plant a load of flowers. You like, I don't know, cars, and you're somebody who shouldn't stereotypically like cars. Go like cars. Who gives a crap?
Hallelujah.
Do what you want.
Yeah.
Do what you want.
I wish that vibration sound happened again when Kean was doing that. That would have made my day. Cameron, what I was going to say, what do you do? Because we've asked everyone, what's life been like since leaving the house? But I know you just mentioned there that it's not kind of been this party that everyone would imagine. So what do you do for work now, and that kind of stuff? What's it been like for you?
Well, it's just I'm starting uni and stuff next year. Work, I do various different work from home. I think nowadays, especially with the way economy and things are, you can't really specialize in one thing, or just kind of throw your hat at everything and just try and get by, try and make money in ways, and try and build futures. I think it's obviously very difficult at the moment. People are losing jobs. Yeah. People don't have money. No matter what you do, it's being affected. So you've just got to keep plodding along. I mean, I'm just trying to build a life, trying to build a purpose. I'm failing miserably, but I'll keep trying for now.
What are you studying? What are you going to go study?
Ironically, psychology.
I did psychology and crime.
Oh, really? How did you find it?
Field day with me.
So interesting.
Psychology on me.
Yeah, it was so interesting. Really interesting. You'll love it.
Yeah, I think it's a type of thing. I think because I always talk about feelings, emotions, and things, and I think it's never hurts to be able to understand human beings more. Do you know what I mean? Understand why people are reacting the way they are. So that when someone reacts in a way you don't necessarily think's the right way, you can kind of understand or see why they're doing it because of something they've done. I think you can, whether I go on to become, I don't think I'll ever be able to be a counsellor. I mean, I need or therapist or anything like that. I think
we're really short on educational psychologists.
Educational psychology. I mean,
yeah, kids like Junaid.
There we go.
That would, I'd love to do something like that. That would be somebody a bit like somebody who supported me through high school and things. I'd love to be that. It's not about money. I'm not interested in earning hundreds of thousands of pounds. Interested in having a big flash house, flash guys. It's not what it's about. It's all material things. I just want enough to get by, to be able to just live an all right, comfortable-ish life and be with people I care about and love, and try and do a job that helps people out. Not because I'm saying that, I'm an amazing person because I want to do a job that helps people out. It's just money doesn't motivate me the way it motivates other people. And it's fine if you're motivated by money. It makes the world go around. It's a good thing. But for me, I'm more motivated by trying to help people and inspire people, as cringely pathetic as that sounds.
You know what, though? You'll get best of both worlds with that job, though. If you're a psychologist, you're helping people and they get a mint wage.
Do they?
And if you get too much, I'll give you my bank details. You can transfer it. I'll take it.
Yeah, we can.
So thank you so much, everyone, for coming on today. And I was messaging Cameron so much throughout that, saying, "Come on," and he managed to come on. So thank you so much. Thanks to Kian. Sorry for accusing you of breaking wind on this one.
It's all right. There was no coughing in my knickers during this Zoom call.
I can't control it. It's literally as soon as I saw it, it cracked me up. Thank you so much for coming on today as well.
You're very welcome. Thank you for asking.
Thanks for having us.
And Zoe and Karen, thank you. It's been amazing.
Thank you.
See, this is emotional. Thank you so much for everybody that's watched, that's commented. It's been a 3-month project. It's taken a lot of time to get the housemates to take part from series 1 to 19. And next week, Celebrity Big Brother reunions will be on. Check my Twitter at Lewis J Nicholls and Instagram at Lewis J Nicholls for the reveal of who the celebrities will be that are taking part. Thank you so much to everybody. If you've enjoyed these, please subscribe, because I will be doing some Big Brother one-off specials near Christmas.